Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, October 18th, and I'm Krista McDonald. It's great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. This week on Norwood News, we look at the rare display of northern lights. We learned what to expect from special town meeting. But first, over the past few weeks, hurricane season has been in full force, with Helene and Milton developing into Category 3 and 4 hurricanes, causing devastation across the South. We checked in with National Weather Service meteorologist Joe Della Carpini to explain this season's hurricane pattern.
Hi, everyone. This is Joe Della Carpini. I'm a meteorologist at the National Weather Service's Boston office and a Norwood resident. And we're here today to take a look at the 2024 hurricane season and why it's been so active lately. So yes, it's no surprise it has been active. We just passed through the M storm Milton. Hurricane Milton made landfall in Florida. And our next one on the list is Nadine. But it actually was fairly quiet through July and August, and things really picked up in September as a number of storms developed. Most of them remained well out to sea in the open Atlantic, but a couple of them, Helene and most recently Milton, originated in the Gulf of Mexico and brought some devastating impacts to portions of the country. So the hurricane season peaked really around September 10th. That's kind of the normal time of year for our peak in the Atlantic. And we're on the downward trend now, but even through October, you can still have a fair number of tropical storms and hurricanes in the Atlantic. And again, about 2/3 of them form after August 28th. So we're on the downside of the curve, but still a ways to go here in October and even into early November. So why has this year been active? A couple of key factors. One is the fact that El Nino, which was so prevalent last winter, as you remember, it was warm and there really wasn't a lot of snow. That has gone away, and we're now going to be heading into La Nina as we get through the fall and the upcoming winter. So El Nino tends to not favor too many hurricanes in the Atlantic. The winds tend to be a little bit stronger up at the jet stream level. It tends to kind of rip any tropical storms or hurricanes apart before they can really develop. So once that goes away, it tends to be a little bit more favorable as far as winds in the upper atmosphere. The other factor is really the above normal sea surface temperatures, and you can see an image of that on the right. Those oranges that are in the Gulf of Mexico and off the much of the East Coast, those are water temperatures that are well above normal, and that really helps fuel tropical storms and hurricanes. So then most people are asking, well, okay, there's been so many storms. Why have they missed the East Coast? Why have none of them threatened us up here in New England? And there's a couple of reasons. One is just the prevailing weather pattern. So we really can't tell ahead of time whether or not a storm, on a seasonal basis will make landfall. It really comes down to the weather pattern that's in place at the time the storm forms. And a lot of the prevailing weather patterns in this month of September and October have steered the hurricanes and tropical storms either into the Gulf of Mexico or kept them well out to sea over the open Atlantic. And you can see the weather map here on the right. High pressure has really been dominant over the Great Lakes and Northeast over the fall here, and that just keeps the storms away. It blocks them from really coming up the East Coast. Now, the other part is if we go up a little bit in the atmosphere to kind of where the airplanes fly, the prevailing weather patterns have really also steered them out to sea or kept them well to our south. You can see we've had strong west to northwest winds across the Great Lakes and into New England, and that really just prevents anything from making a track up the East Coast. So just the prevailing weather pattern, that's, almost by chance that this weather pattern is in place, but it certainly kept us safe from any tropical storms or hurricanes. So just to reiterate, when we look at forecast information, we have our forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center, and this is probably the most widely used forecast graphic that's out there. Remember, it shows the probable track of the storm, and the cone represents historical forecast error. It's not specific to a particular storm. It's just at different time ranges. That's the typical forecast error. Now, keep in mind, the center of the storm can be outside of the cone about a third of the time. It doesn't always remain within the cone. And it most certainly does not indicate the extent of potential impacts. So wind, flooding, storm surge, even tornadoes can occur outside of this cone. So that's always an important thing to remember. And as we go through the end or the remaining times of our tropical season this year, always keep tabs on things. At NWS Boston, we have a tropical briefing page that's available. It's weather.gov/Boston/tropical. You can find all the latest information here, from the latest outlooks satellite images, any active storms ongoing. And should a storm threaten us here in New England, you'll get localized threats and impacts as well as some local forecast information that you can certainly use. And of course, preparedness information. It's always a good idea to be prepared for significant weather up in our region. So that's a look at the hurricane season so far as of the fall and why it's been so active. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email at the email address below. It's joseph.delicarpini@noaa.gov. Otherwise, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Town Moderator Jerry Slater gives a quick preview of what to expect at special town meeting scheduled for October 24th.
Well, hello again, everybody. And with the changing of the leaves, it's time for fall town meeting. We have a special coming up on October 24th, and it is a potpourri of articles, some having to do with some administrative actions, and others, which is the big event, happens to be the capital improvement plan. So this meeting is going to be a little unusual because we have a plethora of free cash, one-time cash money in the free cash area for the town. So we're going to be allocating some of that for some unusual purposes. One, to beef up the stabilization or the rainy day fund for the town. Another is for the new compensated balances account. And then a majority of it is going to be used to fund the capital improvement plan. So those administrative motions or articles will take place at town meeting. In addition, we do have, as mentioned, the capital plan, but we also have some one-time items. We have, starting off, I believe it's Article 1 is going to be for the police to fund part of the new purchase of body cams, which the Norwood Police Department is implementing. They have a state grant for part of the expense for the body cams, but we're also going to appropriate some money there. Administratively, there is a bylaw, a change to the town bylaw having to do with weights and measures. Those are the fees that are associated with weights and measures, and those haven't been updated in years, so we're actually going to look at those increases and kind of bring Norwood up to the times, if you will, and generate some cash for the town budget as well through that. The last article is going to be about generating a tax on retail marijuana sales. As everybody knows, right now we only have a medical marijuana dispensary in town, but due to some changes in state regulations, the current medical dispensary is going to be able to change to a recreational dispensary, and Norwood would like to implement, as other towns around have, a tax on the sale of recreational marijuana. Kind of bringing us back, we are also going to have, I think folks knew back at the annual town meeting, the Community Preservation Committee brought through their annual allocations. One that actually was taken off of the annual town meeting docket is going to be placed on this special, and that is for a veterans housing project on Vernon Street. So CPC, Community Preservation Committee, is petitioning to bring that forward. Town meeting will debate it. And then finally, the big show is going to be the capital improvement plan. That's roughly $15 million in capital expenses, kind of a combination of equipment and, again, one-time expense equipment sales, including a new fire engine, along with some capital projects, including paving some of the courts over at the Savage Center, and the Hawesbrook Bridge rehab, amongst other items. There will also be the ongoing road repair work and the water and sewer lining work that has been going on through town. So 9 articles, There'll be a couple of more motions because the capital plan has 4 motions as part of that article, but it should be a pretty full agenda, if you will. So October 24th, town meeting members, we will be using electronic voting once again. Meeting starts at 6:30. We ask that you come early. Come at 6:15 to register, to get your clicker, and again, those are assigned to you individually, and to be ready to go at 6:30 sharp. So looking forward to seeing everybody then, and thanks again. We look forward to a very, very lively town meeting.
When Norwood News returns, a DPW employee spreads the fall spirit around Norwood, Charlotte Martino delivers the school news, and Ron Marshalsea has the latest in sports.
Hi, my name is Ernie Pachakowski and I host Ernie's Jukebox, heard right here on Norwood Community Media. I want to say happy anniversary to NCM for 20 great years of fantastic programming, for providing an opportunity for students and adults to learn about what it takes to work in a studio environment, and providing public access so a guy like me can play rock and roll for all of you. Again, happy anniversary to everyone at Norwood Community Media for 20 great years. Keep it going, and be there or be square.
Every fall, a DPW employee takes the time to decorate Norwood for the fall season. Kiki Thaxter reports.
Fall is in the air thanks to Norwood DPW's Chip Nickerson. Every year, Chip goes around and decorates notable areas of town. You may have seen them on your commute to work or maybe while out on a weekend walk. The first thing you see when you come into town on Neponton Street is Chip's handiwork. Made up of straw and scarecrows, the decorations bring a little charm to some of Norwood's landmarks. We'd like to thank Chip for making the town look so festive during this fall season. Reporting from the Cookie, I'm Kiki Thaxter.
On this week's Living Local, we meet Colleen McCready, manager of Daddy's Dairy Norwood, who has taken ice cream cake decorating to another level.
Located across from the town common and next to Norwood Theater, Daddy's Dairy isn't your normal ice cream shop. It offers over 80 flavors and toppings.
Well, we just have so many options. We have over 80 hard serve, we have hundreds of soft serve flavors. You're not going to find that anywhere. And we also have a whole topping board. Like, we have just so many things. We have vegan ice cream, we have slush, we have everything you could think of, and every store has their own school sprinkles that we have listed over there on the board, and it's just, Daddy's Dairy is just like one of a kind.
Manager Colleen McCready knew that Daddy's Dairy was the perfect fit when she saw the job description posted.
I actually saw that the owner had posted about cake decorators, and I said, oh, that's really close to my house. Let me see if I get the job. So I got hired before the Norwood location opened, and I've been here ever since, making the cookies, cakes, pies, making sure everything's stocked, just making sure everything is up to their standards and just looks nice. And because people eat with their eyes first, so you come in, you want to see everything looks clean, looks nice, everyone looks put together, and yeah, so that's just kind of managing that. And like employees, like the teenagers, and just training them, making sure they know how to handle food properly, just like everything.
Daddy's Dairy isn't just an ice cream shop. It offers custom cakes that Colleen has made a staple at the Norwood location.
Well, everything's made here in-house, start to finish. We mold all the cakes. It's just 2 layers of ice cream and then the cake crunch in the middle. So there's no actual baking anything, and then we mold those, and then we unmold them, and then we frost them, decorate them however. We have the ones for the cases that are always in stock, and then we do custom orders where all those flavors I just mentioned, that you can pick 2 of those and we can make a cake with it, and any decoration you could think of.
Colleen started her cake decorating over a decade ago at another local establishment.
I started at Garino's well over a decade ago, and then I had taken a break because, I had kids, and then I came and started here, and then the owner was nice enough to give me like full creative reign, and I just kind of went with it, and I've learned a lot from her, and it's like I've grown immensely while being here as far as like designs.
The Norwood community always shows up for their local businesses, and the response to Daddy's Dairy has been great.
The community here has been great, especially with the common there. We're always involved in something. We always make sure to try to, donate. We do like I've like done gift baskets for like the Scholarship Foundation, things like that. So we try to give back as much as they've given to us, and it's always been very nice. And the people have been great, and it's just been a great, 5 years, 5, 6.
Downtown Norwood has always had an ice cream spot. If you remember Brigham's, Ice Jack, now having Daddy's Dairy in town is another spot for all to enjoy, because who doesn't love an ice cream treat?
We get a mix of everyone, but like the kids, they just come in and it's just like sensory overload, but they get so excited to try samples of everything. And then the older, like we have like an older demographic as well. While the kids are in school, they'll come in and like sit down. Well, it's quiet, and then there's concerts, or if there's anything from the theater, we always have an overflow of that. A lot of families, just really everyone loves ice cream, so we get everyone.
To learn more about Daddy's Dairy, visit their website or social media pages.
Now we'll toss it over to Charlotte Martino for the latest in school news.
I'm Charlotte Martino, and I'm a senior at Norwood High School, and let's take a look at what's happening in our Norwood schools. In Norwood High School news, congratulations to Students of the Month Colleen Sisk and Julia Pereira. These students are nominated by their teachers and are involved in the 4 A's and are positive role models for other students. The senior activities of the class of 2025 are underway, and the traditional senior picture for the yearbook was taken this week. The yearbook is a year-long project managed by 6 students in elective class, and the staff advisors are Kendra Levitt and Jen Dwyer. The Coakley Middle School has 2 MIAA sports in the fall, cross country and volleyball. Both teams have had an excellent seasons and will be wrapping them up over the next 2 weeks. Cross country's final meet was Tuesday, and volleyball's final game is October 29th. Mike Gertie is the head coach for volleyball, and Terry Martin is the head coach, and Joe McDonough is the assistant coach for cross country. Here are some great pictures submitted by a parent photographer, and Principal Margot Frazick said she is proud of all the students and what they have accomplished this season. Third graders at the Balch have been very busy. In science, the students have been learning about the life cycles of plants and animals. They are learning even more through hands-on activities. First, they dissected lima beans and sketched the parts of a seed. Next, they planted 4 different kinds of seeds and have been observing their growth and note-taking to keep track of the timeline of the changes. Another exciting addition to the classrooms has been observing the life cycle of live mealworms as they grow and change. The third graders also had a lot of fun making and eating homemade applesauce this week. Here are some pictures of all the action. The Cleveland School was awash in pink last week to create awareness for breast cancer. Students and staff all wore pink to show their support. Also at the Cleveland, they kick off a Books and Beyond Literacy Challenge, with students already engrossed in their books on the first day. The Norwood Public Schools had a strong representation at the MassQ conference at Gillette Stadium. The Massachusetts Computer Using Educators has served educators with a passion for digital teaching and has served Massachusetts for over 4 decades. Kindergarten students and staff at the Willett Early Childhood Center invited family and friends to help them welcome a fall season by having some fall fun in our outdoor classroom space. Students and helpers painted tulip, daffodil, and hyacinth bulbs, and then explored the woods and gardens around the school for a fun nature scavenger hunt. The students discovered leaves, pine cones, acorns, feathers, and even spiders.
So brave.
Oh my gosh! You are a 20-year-old! Oh my god. Move away from it, I'm scared. Do you know what that spider's name is? Daddy Longlegs! Daddy Longlegs!
The staff and students would like to express a special thanks to Mrs. Heel and Mrs. Gomez for carefully tending to their gardens and to their PTO for purchasing the flower bulbs. They can't wait until spring to see what blooms. At Little Mustangs, October means pumpkins. Teachers use the pumpkin theme to support all areas of the preschool curriculum, from science to mathematics, to art to language and literacy, and social and emotional learning. Children learn about how pumpkins grow and what's inside a pumpkin, and they reach inside real pumpkins to find seeds. Pumpkin seeds are used for counting and sorting activities. Children paint pumpkins, stamp with pumpkins, play with pumpkin spice Play-Doh, and create art that tells the story of 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. On the TouchView screen, students can build a jack-o'-lantern. Jack-o'-lanterns can also be used for matching games that help students identify different emotions. Finally, most classrooms hear the story The Legend of Spookly the Square Pumpkin, about a square pumpkin in a world of round pumpkins who learns and teaches others to value what makes him unique. This is a story that teaches children to accept and celebrate our differences. That's it for school news this week. We appreciate all the teachers who take time to share their news with us. It gives us an inside look at all the good things happening in our schools. Now let's send it over to Ron Marshallsea with our school sports this week.
I'm Ron Marshallsea, and this is your sports update. The football team hosted Ashland last Thursday and got back on track with a 27-13 win over the Clockers. Senior captain Jack Dwyer scored all 4 Mustang touchdowns on the night, including a 64-yard run and a receiving touchdown from the arm of junior quarterback Caden Sheehan. The Mustangs needed this win after the last couple of games, and I talked to Jack Dwyer about just how big this win was.
Big win tonight? How big was the win after the last couple weeks?
It was huge. You know, we needed one after dropping the last 3, but we bounced back, delivered on the scoreboard, run the rock well, passed it well. Caden had a great game back there, and the O-line did great. So, yeah, we needed this one.
Team's now 2-3, heading into Westwood next week. Is there anything you think the team needs to bring from this game to the next one?
The intensity we came out in the second half, you know, we really fired on all cylinders coming out of the half and really set the tone. We just got to continue doing that the rest of the season.
And talk to me about those big runs.
What'd
you see?
I just saw green. You know, the line separated for me, and I just got right through, and it's all them.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Shout out Danny Russo. You're a dog.
The field hockey team had a week break from their last game, and they looked very well rested as they demolished Ashland 7-1. Seniors Morgan Nauman and Shay Larkey scored hat tricks on the day, and Ava Hines added another. The legendary commentary duo of Nora Glynn and Kathy Shakoy caught up with Morgan after the game and asked her what it's like to play for Coach Allison Dolliner.
So I have a question, Morgan. How's it playing for Coach Dolliner?
Oh my gosh, she's the best. You know, like she's really all like all of us have ever known. I've known her especially a while since my sister played when she graduated in 2019. So my family's known Al for a really long time. So she's always been around. She's always been there for me. You know, her knowledge of the game, you can tell like how much she knows, and she really pushes us. Like even when we think we can't. I mean, I guess it definitely showed last year, like the state championship.
Right. And when you guys are coming right back again, it looks like.
I know.
So you're on that path. So.
I know, we're on a roll.
The golf team was at Pleasant Valley for the sectional tournament on Tuesday and came in 13th place. The Mustang team is full of young, skilled golfers, and their matches will be ones to keep an eye on next season. The boys soccer team lost to Hopkinton, but will face Westwood away on the 22nd at 5:30. The girls soccer team lost to Millis last Thursday in Hopkinton on Tuesday. They will host Westwood on the 22nd at 6 o'clock. Both cross-country teams ran against Dedham on Wednesday. The boys couldn't pull out the win, but the girls get their second win on the year, 20-37 over the Marauders. Natalie Martin, Kieran Gorman, and Bridget Flynn went first, second, and third again to snag the win for the Mustangs. The next time these teams run will be in the TVL cross-country meet with 11 other teams on Saturday, October 19th at 10 a.m. at the Rentham Development Center course. The volleyball team went to Westwood this past Wednesday but couldn't get the win. They will be at Dedham on Friday the 18th at 5:30. And that is all I have for this sports update. I'm Ron Marshallsea, and Norwood News will be right back after this break.
On Sunday, October 20th at 1 p.m., the Norwood Parents Music Association will be sponsoring and hosting the Micah Southeast Marching Band Festival here at Norwood High School. We will be featuring 8 bands, including the Norwood High School Mustang Marching Band, doing their show this year, a tribute to Paul, Alberta. It should be very exciting. We're thrilled to be doing this tribute for Mr. Alberta. And we will also be joined by the UMass Lowell Marching Band. It's become a tradition for them to be with us on that day, and we hope you can come out and see us that day, cheer on the Mustangs and the other 8 bands that will be performing.
The school committee met at the Savage Center this past Wednesday. The meeting's appearances included Eli Norris with a food service update and Dr. Margot Frasick requesting approval for the Coakley's Washington, D.C. trip, which was approved. Mr. Luff's superintendent's report was followed by the Q1 financial report and the review of entitlement grant funding presented by Mr. Mannion. The meeting concluded with a discussion of MCAS scores and a presentation by Dr. Munoz. The full meeting will be rebroadcast on the MCN Government Channel and is available on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. The school committee will meet again on October 30th. The Airport Commission met this week and Du Bois & King gave an update on the completion of Taxiway Charlie. Airport Manager Mark Raymond then gave an update and announced that the Tyler Lawrence Playground has been fenced off and construction will begin this week. Airline pilot and flight instructor of Norwood Air, Hans Lehnen, requested to have an aviation event at Norwood Airport. The Commission motioned to approve the request. Before every town meeting, Town Administration holds an info session for town meeting members at the Yusevich Lecture Hall. This gives town meeting members a chance to ask questions ahead of time and fully grasp the articles they'll be voting on at this special town meeting. Special town meeting will be October 24th at 6:30 p.m. Last Thursday night around 7:30, a stunning display of color washed over the Norwood sky. A rare display of the Northern Lights put on a spectacular show in Norwood, and many in town looked up to see the pink and purple sky. The Northern Lights are the result of solar storms on the sun and have reached much farther south than usual. NASA has predicted that this may happen again in the next few months, so keep an eye on the skies. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.